Ishta Jijame Baba, Zudokai, Zudokai Baba, Anurodo Baba, Zarvazide Mebraya, Gazaro Karmuzojan, Chidajan Guru Hong, Kaho, Gaon, Sarvada, Gada, Vedarman, Bedriba, Hosame, Sadva, Om, Bezar, Zadvazamaya, Manubalaya, Bedar Zada Tenova, Jishda Jijame Baba, Sudokai Baba, Zubogai Baba, Anurado me bava, zarvazide me braid, gazaro karmazujame, chidanjem guru hum, ha ha ho, bhaga, taroda gada, vedanam, de bedriva, manudamaya, zadva, om, bezar, zadva samaya, manobalaya, bezar zada tyanava, jishda jishwa me bava, zudoga me bava, zuboga me bava, anurado me bava, zarvazide me braid, gazaro karmazujame, chidanjem guru hum, ha 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 ho Bhagavan Sarvada Dagada Bezarmame Munja Bedriba Mahasamaya Sadva A Om Bezar Sada Samaya Manobalaya Bezar Sada Teno Tijda Jidome Baba Zudokat Zubokan Baba Panuradome Baba Zarozideme Bradra Zaro Karmazujame Chidanjem Guru Hum Ka Ho Bhagavan Sarvada Dagada Bedarmane Munja Bedriba Mahasamaya Sadhu Om Bedar Sabo Samaya Manobalaya Bedar Sada Tenova Dishda Jidone Bava Zudokai Bava Subokai Bava Anuradome Bava Zarvazideme Brahidra Zarva Karma Sujane Chidan Jirem Guru Om Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sarvada Dagada Bedarmane Munja Bedri Bhava Mahasamaya Sadhu Om Bezar Zada Samaya Manobalaya Bezar Zada Tenova Dishda Jijone Bhava Sudokai Bhava Zubokai Bhava Anurado Bhava Zarvazide Mebrayadva Zara Karmazudam Chinanjim Guru Om Ha Ha Ho Bhagavan Zarvada Dagada Bezar Vedriva Manobalaya Om Bezar Samaya Manobalaya Bezar Sada Tenova Tijda Jijone Bava Zudokan Zubokan Bava Anurabdun Bava Sarvazidene Braya Zarvazujane Jidan Sarvada Bezar Sada Samaya Manobalaya Bezar Sada Tenova Tijda Jijone Zudokan Zarvazideme Prayadva Zarva Karmazudam Chidanjem Guru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Zarva Dada Gada Bezarmame Munja Bedriba Mahasamaya Sadva A Om Bezar Sadva Samaya Manobalaya Bezar Sada Tenova Tijda Jijome Bava Zudokaime Bava Zubogaime Bava Anuradome Bava Zarvazideme Prayadva Zarva Karmazudame Chidanjem Guru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sarvada Gada Bezarmame Munja Bedriba Mahazamaya Sadva Aum Bezar Sadva Samaya Manopalaya Bezar Sada Tenova Jishda Jijome Bava Zudokai Bava Zubokai Bava Anuradome Bava Zarvazideme Bradga Sarva Karma Zujame Chidan Guru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sarvada Gada Bedar Mame Munja Bedri Baba Mahasamaya Sadhu A Om Bedar Sadva Samaya Manobalaya Bedar Sadha Tenova Dishda Jijame Baba Zudoka Me Baba Zuboga Me Baba Anurada Me Baba Sarvaside Me Braya Zudame Chidan Sarvada Gada Bedar Mame Munja Bedri Baba Bedar Samaya Bedar Sadha Sarvada Manovala Sarvazidame Brayadga Sarva Karma Sujame Chidan Shrim Guru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sarvada Gada Bezarmame Muja Bezriba Mahasamaya Sadhu A Om Bezar Sadvazamaya Manovalaya Bezar Sadatenova Dishda Jijame Baba Zudokayame Baba Zubogayame Baba Anuradame Baba Sarvazidame Brayadga Sarva Karma Sujame Chidan Shrim Guru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sarvada Gada Bezarmame Munja Bezriba Mahasamaya Sadhu Om Bezar Sadasamaya Manobalaya Bezar Sadatenova Dishda Jijame Baba Zudokayame Baba Zubokayame Baba Anuradame Baba Sarvasideme Prayadga Sarva Karma Sujame Chitan Shriam Guru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sarvada Gada Bezarmame Munja Bezriba Mahasamaya Sadhu Om Bezar Sadasamaya Manobalaya Bezar Sadatenova Dishda Jijame Baba Zudokayame Baba Zubokayame Baba Anuradame Baba Sarvasideme Prayadga Sarva Karma Sujame Chitan Shriam Guru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sarvada Gada Bedharma Muja Bedriva Mahasamaya Sadhu Om Bezar Sada Samaya Manobalaya Bezar Sada Tenova Dishda Chichame Sudokayame Baba Zubakayame Baba Anuradame Baba Sarvasideme Prayadga Sarva Karma Sujam Chidan Shriam Guru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sarvada Gada Bedharma Muja Bedriva Mahasamaya Sadhu Om Bezar Sada Samaya Manobalaya Bezar Sada Tenova Dishda Chichame Sudokayame Baba Zubakayame Baba Anuradame Baba Sarvazidime Prayadga Sarva Karma Sujame Chidan Shriam Guru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sarvada Gada Bezarma Muja Bedriva Mahasamaya Sadhu Om Bezar Sattva Samaya Manobalaya Bezar Sadatenova Dishda Chichame Baba Sudokayame Baba Zubakayame Baba Anuragdame Baba Sarvasidime Prayadga Sarva Karma Sujame Chidan Shriam Guru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sarvada Gada Bezarma Muja Bedriva Mahasamaya Sadhu Om Bezar Sadasamaya Manobalaya Bezar Sadatenova Dishda Chichame Baba Sudokayame Baba Zubakayame Baba Anuradame Baba Sarvasidime Prayadga Sarva Karma Sujame Chidan Shriam Guru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sarvada Gada Bezarma Muja Bedriva Mahasamaya Sadhu Om Bezar Sadasamaya Manobalaya Bezar Sadatenova Dishda Chichame Baba Sudokayame Baba Zubakayame Baba Anuradame Baba Sarvasidime Prayadga Sarva Karma Sujame Chidan Shriam Guru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sarvada Gada Bezarma Muja Bedriva Mahasamaya Sadhu Om Bezar Sadasamaya Manobalaya Bezar Sadatenova Dishda Chichame Baba Sudokayame Baba Zubakayame Baba Anuradame Baba Sarvasidime Prayadga Sarva Karma Sujame Chidan Shriam Guru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sarvada Gada Bezarma Muja Bedriva Mahasamaya Sadhu Om Bezar Sadasamaya Manobalaya Bezar Sadatenova Dishda Chichame Baba Sudokayame Baba Zubakayame Anuradame Baba Sarvasidime Prayadga Sarva Karma Sujame Chidan Shriam Guru Hum Ha Bedriva Samaya Sadhu Om Bezar Sadhu Hum 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 Bezar Hum da zar za do, 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 hum da zar za do. Hum da zar za do, 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 hum da zar za do. Hum da zar za do, 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 hum da zar za do. Home zarzado, 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 home Yevaji nyuru da do je zenga jodi ne do chi gen malo wa de so lang go wa re sho Om Nam Ze Nam Da Ra Shen Lo Da Be Da She Chu Di Shen Ne Shen Ba Yi San Ki Che Den Ke No Ba Me Te Kong La Chen So Da Che Do Yi Che O Dren Me Ke Bo Tso Den Don Don Gong Ma Chen Den Ke Me Ke Ra Pa Dam Kong Lo Gong Ba Ge Che Dra Ba Chen Lo Ba Dar Ba Tse Le Pa Den Yi Sen Che Dan Chen La Gong Dra Be Be Yi Sen Se Ba Chen Lo Ba Na De Sen Son Do Be Da She Ba Ba Wa De Wa She Ba Ge La Che Den Zhang Me Zhang La Ba De Do Re Den Chen Re Zi Ba Gong Ba Chen Be Be Sa Yi Ni Ba Zi Ba Na Ba Re De Wa Na Ge Ni Ba Pa Shen Kun Do Zang U Ba Do Re Pe Ka Lo She Da Nor Da Wa Ra Re Ni Ma Yi Che Me Le Na Da Ge Ben Ge Che Chen Cho Sen Ba Ge La Cha Se Lo rinche dojo da rezergenia dojo bonza eon kamala nyanda zono pozo bebe o mena gyaza wangya koro de rinche dojo gege chasen chen chudo gyawa chujin gege ma gyaza no wadem bebe bebe tashe lama gyala chesel samwa jemo dojo zeme bo medan dena gyabo yogoro don pake bodon lowa meme zan abdo sede lada koro dan tesho ladan tudon dore jen be ara de chodon gyada den sosun nese gele teshe ba jigin gyawa gyala chesel lo da jen de jawa chomba la gyada nyara zewa kunshe ne dodo bebe zondo ishin do tashe dele bonzon so Varisho Umorgen Yulgen Ujanzan Pema Gezar Dombola Yazin Chegen Oidun Pema June Jezo Ra Kordo Kandro Mambo Gorkige Jezo Da Drugi Jinge Lajer Shezo Zo Guru Mema Zide Ho Ho Orgen Yulgen Ujanzan Pema Gezar Dombola Yazen Jurgen Odo Nepema June Jezo Da Kordo Kandro Mambo Kige Jezo Da Druge Jinge Lajere Shezo Do Guru Mema Zide Ho Orgen Yulgen Ojanzan Pema Gezor Dombo Yazen Jurgen Odo Nepema June Jezo Da Kordo Kandro Mambo Kege jezo da rege jinge la jere shezo zongoro mema zide ohom dorje lobon sange be oduzon jula chaze lo chozon dembe shingyor la nimi ige kyavzo ji no jere ge namdol be dabe choba jezo no dojo chobe ge nye je malo shabar ge chojo korzon dabe je maja chola jer Dame taje dreamame zobe janjo zenge do dere janjo zembola daba zungi lugola tera chanve kewan dune janjo jodo no zaji imbege chujin medara rira linje nide genba di zange jindu migde bulwai rogo nanda jinla chobare jo idang guru rena mandala gam nire Tenje namge zambadan loe jeda chida vare chichung tumon tebai chuye koro kordo zo kunzang duren dure duren gare rin tema chung zara khanda dune kunzang muna la chege o le mengo jazung ye no yin kusen gyala gyala chidu je kongdo chige gyabo suchin ba tuchani be shala chage kore danyo chinyoro kore tudama ge sange basho ona zari zine zin dure zo maunde je merpa tae sha dadun pisho gyala chobe no chikcho ishi doji la chige Peme gyalda chakun dujo lenga ki duzo peme dele gya nyu kaba lungda gyatso de techen yazo son la cha gyo gya kun chukdo peme tseba me san china no ge chikwa cha ishe tsuba dore zima no peme tsen chudo je la cha gyo oden zon ge peme rin lo gyo na gyo ri tori nyingma ta du je sol je je ra na wa ra ge kinjin chu je sha la cha gyo omen chu ge inge kodan na duzon san ge kungi no 롱전 출고 농동 동접에 자외랑 샤라 차기요 아원한 게 다다냥 외전전 당직의 동도 조배 상계의 고관 똑바르죠 대체도 담배 최상의 생로 동양조련 양배정 주주도 또 개발을 타 And good evening, and nice to see you here. First of all, we should reinforce our bodhicitta motivation in order to bring for Buddhahood all sentient beings, limitless as sky, to perfect and complete liberation and state of Buddha. In order to do this, now we will listen, contemplate, and practice and Holy Dharma with all deep and vast methods and views what belongs to this teaching. So motivation in order to help all sentient beings to get enlightenment, now to listen, understand, and after perfectly apply methods of Dharma in order to bring them to essence of great awakening. So first of all, we generate this motivation of vast intentions, and second, we also should establish pure view, pure perception according inner tantra's vision, what is primordially our true nature. So perfect place, abode of Buddhahood, Buddha realm, like pure dimension, perfect teacher we should imagine, like in sky in front of us, our root teacher in form of Buddha, Guru Rinpoche, Samantabhadra, etc., as we wish. Perfect retinue. I think about ourselves and those who is around of our teacher as Buddhas, Bodhisattvas, like all female green taras, like all male golden manjushris, etc. Next perfection is teaching, which belongs to great vehicle and especially to profound divisions of inner tantras, Maha, Anat, Ati Yoga, and perfect time beyond of samsara, beyond of clinging and preconceptions, about 3 times, pure time of awakened state, pure awareness time. So this true nature as it is, as it's shown by our teachers and Buddhas, and as it's like stated by all Vidadaras. So we try to first, like artificially, to reconnect to this, but in reality, it is true. So our attempts or try and they like coincide or match to true nature as it is. So after of establishing this motivation, we also should make attention or bring our attention that proper right behavior during teaching, listening, teaching, practicing teaching, transmitting teaching, giving teaching, etc. also important. It means that on level of our body speech, because motivation mostly is our mind, but our body speech also should reflect this our noble intentions, those our intentions. So we should sit properly with straight spine in physical presence of this teacher, etc. Our brothers, sisters, we should keep like respectful position of body, keep control to our speech, outwardly, inwardly, like to keep our breathing naturally. So what kind of teaching today we will try to reflect on, to learn, to get some ideas. Our teaching today is connected to Naga, and we will talk about how to practice Sang offering and Torma offering to Nagas according to Dudjom Tersar tradition and general Nyingma and Kagyu traditions, in simple, like plain way of our level, not very elaborated, but accessible and easy, but still try like to get understanding of what is behind of it. So first of all, we should literally discuss or talk about who Nagas are and why we generally need to do all these practices. We have to understand that these ritual aspects of offering, like thermal offering, water offering, sang offering, etc., is like additional or secondary methods which support our main practice, which is connected to main aspects of creation stage, completion stage, great perfection, or Mahamudra, etc. But according to Buddhas and our teachers, just main practice sometimes not enough. We need a lot of skillful means to work with secondary conditions, and one of them, so-called four-grade giving or four-grade generosity. So it's like sang offering, water thermal offering, sur offering, and chop practice offering of our body, generally very connected between each other, and these are skillful means to get complete our accumulation of merits and wisdoms very fast. If we practice in very profound and powerful methods of main part of Ati yoga, etc., but have no behind accumulation of merits, in many cases it creates so many obstacles. It's not allowing our practice to develop, or it's not stable, or we're not progressing at all, etc. So many signs of lack of merits could be connected. So offering to Nagas is one of the skillful means to generate a lot of merits at first. Second, this practice is actually skillful means of our compassion. First of all, we have to assess this compassion feeling, this kindness, love, and compassion toward sentient beings, and in this case, like particularly to Nagas. Without compassion, there is no Buddhist practice, right? And just to do offerings to worldly beings, which most of Nagas are, it will be not Buddhist practice at all. Why we should understand this? So these practices are important, but not so necessary. If we like doing all complex of our practice from preliminary to main parts, a lot of secondary practices, etc. Yes, according to circumstances and working with conditions, we could also apply these methods offering to Nagas and connection to them, but it's not obligation. If we have compassion and special feelings that we need to help them, then it will be a very proper motivation to go for these practices. Even they are secondary and not main, there are still some big varieties inside of these practices connected to Naga general. If we like have like more big view or observe what they are, so they divided in two groups. One is practicing actually some methods of meditation on Buddhas and Bodhisattvas who are taken form as Nagas in Naga realm. And there are many also like sadhanas, empowerments, etc., which are quite popular. For example, from Nagarjuna to Atisha was lineage of Nageshwara Raja, like great powerful lord of Nagas, one of Buddhas who was brought to Tibet. Atisha gave a lot of this teaching, also composed a lot of text and supported translations of them into Tibetan, etc. So this part like require empowerment. Transmission actually is one of deity practice where main deity is this Lord of Nagas, Buddha in his form, which he is liberating Nagas. We can see sometimes this picture, he is blue in body and with white head, and he has special mudra where this in these fingers connected. So it's powerful practice which bring liberation to practitioner himself, and also to Nagas and other sentient beings. So this is like enlightened form of Buddhas or Bodhisattvas connected to Nagas. Another example, this is like Nageshwara Raja, one of Buddha of confession from 35 Buddhas, he's second, and this is like Bodhisattva level of practice, right? This is confession of Bodhisattva vows. On tantric levels, there is this practice as one of Idam deities. Not so popular in Nyingma and Kagyu, but in Giluk school, for example, it's quite popular. So many lamas transmitting it, giving teaching, composed a lot of sadhanas, etc. If you take like Nyingma example, there is a lot of teaching from Namchoy, sky-like treasure revealed by great Terton Migurjorje, and one of them is Lugyal Miguan Karpo, like white king protector, Lord of Nagas. It's also Buddha form. One form of Buddha says that in this form, Vajrapani appeared and like bringing Nagas and other sentient beings to enlightenment. So it's also practiced. There is empowerments, transmissions, commentaries, etc. Also, this Legion Migon Karpo, one of protector of Trauma Nagmo Mandala, if we talk about specifically like in the Dudjom Tersar, he's in front on east direction, this Lord of Naga with his consort, children and retinues of Nagas. He's one of protector of trauma teachings. And there are others. There are quite a lot of many others methods. So in this case, there are means to get enlightenment for us and for Nagas. Second part, huge, even bigger part of Naga practice is connected to different activities. So it's part of tantric cycles. And if we look at this, so these activities like this, like bringing control for weather condition, like as the Naga is given rain if it's drought, or stopping huge storms and rains if it's too much of them, like this. Other Nagas is quite rich and powerful, so a lot of wealth, accomplishment, and prosperity practices connected to Nagas. There are many of them. Another is like special vases, Naga vases, like accomplished by tantric methods. For example, Dudjom Tersar and Kandrutuktik Ishitsugyal cycles, there is powerful method of preparing and accomplishing these Naga vases. We can say that we really, this one is quite required to us, because these vases are helping to regenerate, revive, to cure our soil, our sky, our nature. It's one of greatest Buddhist ecological, like ecology means to, which is very important now, right? So another huge part of Naga practice connected to different diseases. Nagas are sometimes cause of diseases which comes to human and other beings like animals, etc. But also sometimes Nagas themselves are sick. So a lot of these methods. So in this case, there is like peaceful practices like these offerings, etc. There is also kind of wrathful practices connected to Garuda, etc. So even it's like secondary methods connected to activities, part of our practice. Still, it's very important, and according to our conditions, sometimes they're very in need, right? Like for curing diseases, helping sick people, to helping our environment with these ecological problems, etc. So Buddhist teaching rich with these methods. And then they say that one of 4 qualities which make Tantra or secret mantra generally more higher, or more higher than Sutra. One is like varieties, so multiple ways of skillful means, which like bring benefits in so many ways. So Nagas, and those practices really classical. Some of them came from India, and in Gur we have a lot of translated text of Naga practices, translated from Sanskrit, etc. This is sadhanas, this enlightened form connected, and these rituals like offerings. We should say that some offering of this, like most probably adopted from Tibetan practices. When Guru Rinpoche came, he introduced this like Naga Sang and other Sang practices into the course of practice. And in Kangyu Tingyu, we have no, as I can see, any Sang practices. But it doesn't mean it's not Buddhist, right? There are so many fire-connected offering, like Jinsek, Agni Puja, etc., incense offering, which not generally so much different, but this cleansing smoke offering could be really like originated or based on like ancient Tibetan Himalayan traditions, maybe not so much like Indian. Anyway, now it's powerful and legitimate part of our practice, which we do, and like all monasteries, all practitioners from time to time like doing these methods. Nagas playing a big role actually in life. If we even just look in Buddha himself, Shakyamuni, even in his life, so many deeds and connected to Nagas. Even his appearance in this life connected to Nagas says when Queen Maya gave birth and Buddha appeared or came to this world, it's happened right like in some kind of forest or whatever, was no water to clean, right, to wash his precious body. And two Nagas, actually two of from 8 great Nagas appeared in space, in sky, and gave bath to Buddhas with cooling, like in warming water. This Nagas like one of main from this 8 great Nagas connected, right, to all Nagas practices. So 2 of them, like for example, gave this bath and like this water to Buddha himself, and so many cases. Samsara is like limitless, right? And Buddha gave a lot of teaching, also like limitless according to capacities, motivations, wishes, needs of sentient beings. And these sentient beings, we know there is like 3 worlds, 6 realms, 5 continuums, etc. Yes, and mainly like students of Buddha, like objects of his tame beings being tamed by Buddhas, right? It's all sentient beings, it's everyone and all. But mainly we say it's like 3 existence. Upper one with all these gods and deities, the human one like in between, and underworld one connected to Nagas. So humans, Nagas, and gods are main objects of Buddha's teaching. Every sentient beings are included, and nobody is left behind. But these 3 are special, and in many sutras we can see that between listeners of Buddha's teaching were present not only humans, but also gods, Nagas, Kumbhandas, and many others. There is sutras which were taught by Buddha directly to Naga kings. Buddha gave teaching emanating himself to Naga world, etc. So many of this connection. It's openly explained in many texts of Dharma, right? It is Theravada tradition in Pali, for example, in Samyutta Nikaya, 1 chapter is Naga Nikaya. It is this is our moments of like teaching explanations connected to Nagas. Mahayana sutras, there is this quite a lot of sutras, mostly famous is sutras requested by Sagaramati, by this ocean-like king of Nagas, etc. In Vajrayana, there is so many tantras connected to Nagas. Just for example, in Nyingma Gyubum, these hundreds, thousands tantras of Nyingma, which are divided from Ati Yoga to Maha Yoga mostly, right? First biggest is Ati Yoga, like same day tantras, long day tantras, Upadesha tantras, etc. So at the Maha Yoga chapter of divisions, there is a collection of protectors tantras. And after protectors, there is quite a lot of tantras connected to Nagas, to Naga practices, teaching with Nagas, etc. More than 10, which comes like also like recommendation for Garuda Vajrapani practice, etc., how to deal with Nagas, with problems with them. But also there is tantras where says how Nagas got enlightened, right? How they got teaching on background path and result about view, meditation, and behavior, etc., etc., with great instructions. It's Mahayoga Tantra, but there are a lot of also advices on like the Dzogchen and Mahamudra levels inside of in such tantras. Just for example, one famous tantra is tantra of king name is king of activities, Samaya Tantra. Tantra dedicated, connected, like or explaining Samayas and which are like king of all activities. Here it directly says that one Naga king was empowered by Samadhapada himself, like who subdued him from all these wrong and harm activities. He got enlightenment, arrived to this primordial enlightened state, and he emanated 8 great Naga kings as his horns to support sentient beings and Buddha teaching, etc., etc. So many of this. So this is important stuff in some way, like great Mipamari Bache and many other, like every Tertons almost has some Nagas practice, teaching, etc. But mostly if we look, so biggest chapters of Naga teaching is composed, revealed, and arranged by Karma Chagmeri Bache. And these great Naga songs and what we will discuss today also connected to Karma Chagmeri Bache. There is many also advices from great Mipamari Bache, how like big scale like of his mind, right, from highest teaching of all subtle details of Sutra, Tantra, and Dzogchen views till, you know, till to Nagas, right? Everything is important in Buddha teaching. So if we look to Mipam, he says why we need to do these practices to Nagas. And he explained like this: because we are humans, we live on earth and we're very dependent on water. And Nagas are lords who control, rule, and like managing water and earth. So this make our connection to them quite important, quite critically important, because this Naga practice is very much helping us to get well-being and like happy, existing happy lives, etc. on relative level. And this highest teaching with wisdom forms of Nagas as Buddhas and Bodhisattvas also bringing us to enlightened state. In other texts, which like very famous Naga teaching, which explains that there are like 3 teachings connecting to Nagas, like white Nagas, black Nagas, and multicolored Nagas. So white are those who are dedicated to virtue, black Nagas who are doing, and this multicolored teaching explain how to deal with good Nagas, bad Nagas, etc. So in this text also say why we need to do this. If we need, reason is because the Nagas are one of most powerful beings in all this non-human world. From all the spirits, 8 classes, etc., Nagas one of most strong, most powerful, and they have limitless capacities, abilities, magic powers, etc. So this is also makes this connection to them quite important and meaningful. So this is kind of like introduction, what I was thinking, surely we need to talk before. If we just go directly like how to make offerings, this and this, and have no ideas about principles, will be maybe not so good. So another classification for Nagas is like, so very short one, these 2 classes, like these Nagas who are enlightened form of Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, and another is like worldly one. Another classification is like Nagas according to 5 castes, which reflects Indians' ideas, right, about society. So Naga of kings and warrior class, Nagas of Brahmin, like priest class, Nagas of merchant class like Vaishya, Nagas of like common people, labor class like Shudra, and outcast Nagas like Dalitas, right, untouchable one. So there is description how what are qualities of these 5 families of Nagas, right? Now we will not go to this, but general idea is this Nagas of this king class, this Kshatriya warrior kings, they are most of them very dedicated to Buddhist teaching. They are on high levels of bodhisattvas, stages, etc. They never bring any harm to people or sentient beings. They are like positive, right? They are virtuous and positive ones. And for other classes of Nagas, they are like, for example, this Vaishya merchants ones, they are very circumstantial. It depends on condition what they meet, right? In good conditions, they're good to people and beings. In bad conditions, they could do harm, etc. So these Nagas of lower class says that they are mostly like by nature they are harm doer. They bring in harm and like provocations, sicknesses, diseases, natural disasters, etc. Especially this Dalit classes, like outcast ones, this lower one, they're bad by nature. So, but general approach in our practice, we starting with peaceful methods like bringing, like offering, pacifying, bodhicitta vision, etc. to these Nagas with this giving teaching, etc. In some cases, when it not works, there is like special methods of restful activities, which we will not discuss now. It's not our topic, but we should know they also exist. But first of all, we should do this and try this peaceful one. So between these peaceful one, 2 most important is offering of Sang and offering of Torma. First, we try to talk about Sang offering, and after go to Torma offering. So when we discuss it, there is preliminary part of preparation, right? And main part of practice. In preliminary part of preparation, there are many preconditions. If we do Naga practice proper way, and we wish like to bring benefit to us and or to others, like to both, right? To bring benefit, there is so many requirements what should be done. So shortly, we can say that it's special requirement to practitioner, second to place, third to time, fourth to substances or material preparation. It's all about practitioner. First of all, of course, if we do in Buddhist practice, we suppose that we have like refuge vows and following and trying to follow bodhicitta, keeping this compassion as attitude and our motivation with pure vision. And we should have some empowerment at least, because in most of practice and here too, ourselves, we are visualizing as Buddha, right, or some Idam deity. Some sanghs prescribe being special images, right, of some deities, but general advice, it could be, first of all, your Idam, main deity, what you practice in yourself. Second, most practices of Naga connected to Avalokiteshvara, or Mahakarunika, great compassionate one. We should know that one of main Buddhas of Naga's realms is Avalokiteshvara himself. There is special form like Simhanada, this lion sound form of Avalokiteshvara, which like works with Nagas, helps them, cures them from their problems and sufferings, gives them liberation, and etc. When we studying or learning about major transmissions of inner tantras, Mahayoga was from somehow high level transmitted by 3 bodhisattvas to 3 non-human realms on Nirmanakaya level. So Manjushri gave this teaching to gods and as body emanation. Avalokiteshvara emanated as speech and compassion of all Buddhas to Naga's realm and gave them teaching of this Guhyagarbha and Mahayoga. and he appeared as great doctor or great healer, because Nagas say they're very powerful, rich, etc., but they suffer from many diseases. Some of them very poisonous, and this poison brings harm even to themselves, etc. And they don't know how to cure these problems. Nagas very much suffering from this poison also. Like some animals, right, they biting, right, and dying from biting others, etc., spreading poison. Could be like bad for both of us. So Avalokiteshvara appears as great healer, as great doctor, and gave teaching by this way, like bringing also medicine and curing the Nagas. By this way, turns their minds to Dharma and says there is 100,000 of Nagas who got Vidyadhara levels by this Avalokiteshvara teaching in Naga realm. And third is Vajrapani, like emanation of mind of all Buddhas and embodiment of power and Lord of secrets, right? And he gave teaching to Yaksha class of sentient beings of this general Vajrayana and Guhyagarbha and Mahayoga especially. So when we say that Nagas, like part of the three existence from 6 realms, usually say that they are animal class, but we should know that there are 4 ways of birth, and Nagas appearing in this samsara worlds by 4 possible ways. Actually, maybe it's only one class of beings who do rebirth by this all 4 ways. 4 ways are like from egg, from warmness and moisture, from womb, and miraculous one. So Nagas, different classes of them are appearance or come into this world by all these 4 gates of birth, right? Some of them lower, like actually animals, because according like traditional view, snakes, frogs, many these beings from sea and oceans, etc. They are Nagas, but they are not this high class Nagas, right? Who are born by this magical way, etc. So Nagas is very like different and a lot of variety in their world, in their like plan of existence. So they are animals, but not only animals. Top of Nagas living at the higher realms of our desire world, right, from 3. And actually they coexist like same places with some gods and asuras. So this class of Nagas, of course, like not like animals, right, but generally say that they are like animal. Most of Nagas like depicted, right, like lower part is like snake, coiled one, and upper part is like human or even like godlike, right? So their nature like this. And in order to connect the proper with them, to make these offerings, give them teaching, etc., we are generating ourselves into Idam deities. So Avalokiteshvara, one of most special connected to Nagas per se, and Kasarpani Avalokiteshvara and Simhanada Avalokiteshvara are very connected. But also practice like Haigriva or Vajrapani and any other idioms actually could be okay, right? For example, if we're doing like now a trauma way or style of this method, so we're doing sadhana of trauma till mantra, right? And after staying in trauma, like stay offering Naga Sang. So we could stay trauma or could transform also like into Buddhist Himani form, like prescribed in trauma Sang. So it's a requirement to practitioner, right? Most of all of this, most important is bodhicitta motivation. If we have pure intention, our achievement will be pure, right, and noble. If we have like bad one, the results also will be bad. So we surely should be motivated by intention to bring benefit to beings like in samsara. And there are many sayings that Nagas actually suffering a lot from these diseases, but also said they suffering from these rituals, ritual rituals, when Nakwas are doing so many of Nagas, like sometimes feeling that they're burning in fire, you know, breaking into pieces, etc. Because so many people doing these Russell rituals without proper the motivation, etc., and bringing harm to these Nagas. So there are also one of great fear of Nagas is from Garudas, right? This is like eternal fight between snakes and eagle. So one of part how Buddha brought Nagas to enlightenment and to pass to liberation by protecting them from this Garuda's fear. So this is a requirement to practitioner, like by his mind stream, right? Second, practitioner should be very prepared to do this Naga practice. It means should be very clean. Nagas like very demanded, really super cleanliness. So it should be very clean dresses and clean diet, strict vegetarian, right? In day of offering to Nagas, not allowed to take any alcohol, no meat, no fish, of course, no garlic, no onion, no like musk connected perfume, etc. This is strictly forbidden. This is actually samaya of Naga practice that you should avoid this. Best way, say it even one day before you follow to this, at least in this day, right? And during this practice, touching the substance, etc., some lamas like covering their mouth, some of them wearing gloves, etc. Because even this our body fluids, like from touching, they can like annoy or harm to some nagas, right? You should understand, right? This is like rules in prescribed one. There are many people who doing like more simple, not elaborate way, not following all these advices, but it's up to you. But generally, like this, no alcohol, no meat for sure. This is like unavoidable. This should be done. So it's preparation for practitioner, right? Requiring from him. Second, place when we do an offering to Naga says that this place should be like endowed with like good qualities, and the wrong places should be avoided. So wrong places are where humans or sentients were killed, right? Where corpses of dead bodies were present or touch ground, etc. So these places like not advisable. They're actually like forbidden to do this Nagas offering. And good places are like these powerful natural places, right? Not polluted, where energy of nature, water, mountains, forest, etc., grass, and like good one. So this is like positive, especially of course like local streams, local ponds, local rivers, etc. They are very good. But any clean place, not polluted, which bring like happiness to our mind to stay in, also good. So this is like a requirement of place. Second is time. There is calendar special days connected to Nagas, so-called days of when Nagas active or coming out, right, waking up. And there is days when Nagas are gone, right? So first is called Lutep and second is called Ludok. So in days of Ludok, where Nagas are gone or going or not present, it's completely forbidden to do any Nagas practice. If we do it these days, it surely will bring like harm and not bring any benefit. So this time should be avoided. We check this by Tibetan calendar, so many of them are like we can use. And these positive days of Nagas activities we should do. There is most of day are neutral, right? When there is no this, not positive, no negative. Most of lamas say they're like useless, sorry. If these days we do offering to Nagas, it will not bring harm, not will bring any benefit. But between 12 months, there is like also some months where completely not recommended this neutral days, either because even the neutral days in this month will be bad consequences. So best times is Nagas activity, or when Nagas are coming out, when they're not sleeping, they're not hiding, they are privileged, when they are like traveling on stairways close to humans in the same realm. This is like a requirement of time. Fourth one is most complicated. This is like substances what we use. So most advisable to use so-called Naga medicine, lumen in Tibetan language, right? There is so special formulas, how prepared and very strict requirements how this medicine are prepare it. It's very difficult to find all these components. Some of them completely not available here in West, etc., and only like in India, Nepal, Tibet. So even we have them, there are so many secrets. It's so difficult. So best of all, if we get in this Naga medicine from like, valid, reliable source. Best of all, if you know really like good doctors, practitioners who are making this medicine, this is the best way. Also, Mensikant, like official, right? Authority, Tibetan Medical and Astrological Institute producing this Naga medicine. I think this one also should be good because they keep the standards. But inside of traditions, there are many formulas and secrets. So if you like follow Nyingma practice, better like to use medicine of Naga, which prepared by like Nepal composition or Jamgon control, etc. There are also like Indian recipes from Nagarjuna, and there is also Naga medicine even in Ayurvedic like shops and from Ayurvedic companies. I don't know. I asked quite many Tibetan doctors, etc., about Ayurvedic Nagas medicine. Nobody says that they can. All of them replies they don't know. Could we use it? Good this one or not good one, etc. And so I think it should be also good, but if we, for example, if we couldn't get Tibetan medicine, etc., we can use this one, maybe Ayurvedic one. Why is this Naga medicine so important? It's also not just composition of these minerals, herbs, plants like trees and etc. It's also blessed and accomplished because there is special visualization and mantras, etc., which should be done by doctor. Usually doctors do it themselves or bringing two lamas who doing retreats, etc. It should be accomplished, right? So from this all reasons, it's best if you can get like really traditional this Naga medicine, then it will work fine. If we going around of Bodha stupa, right, in Nepal, there are many people who selling, they even selling like Mindrup, which completely like difficult to imagine how you can sell this medicine of Dharma accomplishment, this Rasayana, right? But they also selling pills for Rakta and like for Torma substances. They also selling this Naga medicine, but what is quality? I don't know. Sometimes even there is no name who prepared it, what doctor did made it, right? So this Naga medicine is critically important, but also very important to get it in proper lineage from proper hands, right? If we got this Naga medicine, we don't need to use it a lot. It could be little bit, some piece of this powder, right? There is also requirements that this Naga medicine should not be exposed to light. So we should keep it like in separate from other medicine or smelling incenses, etc., and covered in white cloth, in white fabric, white colored cloth. So it's best not expose so much. When we put it to fire, to sun, etc., it's okay, but generally we're keeping it like in this, not on light. Sometimes they say that when they're preparing this Naga medicine, it should not be exposed to sky, blue sky, right? It should be covered, should be white tent, etc., covering from the sky, right? So this Naga medicine, I can recommend also like in Nepal where you can get like really good one. What I believe, right? Or what I respect. So if we have this Naga medicines and everything fine, then we preparing like our fireplace, right, to make sang. If we usually do in sang, most of case sometimes Mindrup this, right, 5 meter and 5 nectars blessed pills recommended to put in sang general, right, sang which offer to 3 rules like Riva Sancho, etc. So they say that for Nagas Mindrup is not allowed, right, because it's like of course transformed it to nectar but too strong for them. So this way says that maybe better to have separate cup or bowl for sang offering, which used only for sang, for Nagas, right, not general sang. Also there is sometimes danger that in Sang powder rare, but in incense, some musk draw like something substances like musk or naki, this pangolin, right, originated, put it inside, right? If they put inside, it's completely not good for nagas, right? So if you can make separate sang place better. Also, they say that no any metals is good for nagas, only like gold and silver okay, but all other is not okay. All others is like not okay. So if it will be like from stone or from clay or even I don't know, glass maybe like will be not good, but for fire, but glass also for some small sand powder, right, could be used, will be better for nagas, right, because they like very much know it and like not for them is not good or contact with all these metals. So if we have special Sangfonagas, it's also a very easy way to use, right? We have Sangfonagas specially prepared. They really good, doing very good song in Bhutan, Naga Sang. Traditional form blessed with all these clean and or true substances. In Nepal, there are also many shops and factories who do Naga Sang, but I don't know. I don't know if they really follow in recipes, if it's really blessed, if they really, okay, if they didn't put something good, it's okay. But if it was contaminated by something bad, it's like quite dangerous. I mean, when I'm thinking, not only me, also many lamas say about the Naga practices, if we want to do, we should do it in such proper way. It's so complicated. I mean, I don't know if it's really or not like once Patru Rinpoche was asked to tell about Naga Puja, and he started explaining all this stuff, and at the end he told, but maybe you don't do this at all, because harm from wrongdoing this Nagas offering bigger than benefit, right, could be like more strong than this small benefits what we get in this if we don't need to do, if we're not required, like obliged to do, right? Sometimes we're obliged, we need, somebody is sick or we getting sick or like weather or something. There is like cases where it surely should be done. But if we're doing it just from curiosity, etc., maybe this, I mean, without compassion, as I said, main motivation is compassion. So with all this proper preparation, after, so we have this powder of some instances, very good. Bhutanese one, I think they're mostly very good and keeping standard. In Nepal, you should ask, right, somebody who knows, your lamas or yeah, your like Vajra brothers, etc., who can recommend a good one, right? Like what we can rely. If you have no of this, you can do some from wood and plants and like branches, etc., which is available. They say that actually magnolia is one of best. Naga Gesser, one kind of magnolia is best for nagas, right? Second best is acacia. There is special like acacia with white flowers and reddish like shining, right, like pink one. This is best. There is so many words in many tantras. This kind of acacia is like best, because this flowers is best medicine for nagas. Branches could be used as like sweet sticks for ginseng for fire puja. From branch, bigger ones they making this toothpicks which used in empowerment ceremonies, etc. So this acacia looks like very good one, like very great one. But also they say that willow tree, birch tree, and many others also good. General recommendations that not poisonous one, tree will be okay. Tree and leaves and flowers, etc. They are like very good. So actually, this one, like what is recommended. We could use, right? Also rose bushes. Rose bushes, very good. Also all kind of cypress, right? Cypress and juniper tree, etc. So generally wood good for sunk, also good for this, but this one like acacia one is like very much very much like recommended. So this is preparation of substances. Also, we make like preparing like milk mixed with water and put in, for example, this Naga medicine inside. They say that milk should be from red cow or white goat. Well, now at present time, right, it's difficult to get really natural milk. We don't know what is preservatives inside, etc. In India, they really selling this like it's brand red cow milk, etc. Like people with whom like I taught and discussed some lamas, they say, of course, in West they don't know what will be very good. Like in natural environment in villages, etc., you can get this like red cow or white goat milk. So this is also like one of famous Nagas offering 3 white substances, 3 sweet ones, etc. They're also very good. 3 fruits. This famous Ayurvedic component, right? It's easy to get to any Ayurvedic shops. It's like Tripala, 3 fruits, 3 kinds of Himalayan Mirabalan is like very good for all Sang, but also for Nagas. So preparing all of this, right? And this is preparation of substances. It's just general one, right? For Sang of Naga, usually we can make some shrine, but also we're not obliged. Most of recommendation how to do most easy way what we can do now, right, in our condition. For example, we do in River Sancho. I hope mostly everyone you know how to do River Sancho. And River Sancho has 2 main parts, right? Drone regional so and Kusum Daope, and which usually and Omahum between. So after these 2 parts, when we repeated them as many times as we need, we can put after this Sang of Naga. In this arrangement of Karma Chagme, there are a few of songs, right? One is very famous, La Selchen Moses, cleaning or purification of La. And there are also one song of Nagas offering to composed by Panchen Lama. And there are also few others. I would recommend you to do a song from the Dudjom tradition or from Karma Chagme tradition, and we will like go through about visualization, which like same, right, which recommended by Karma Chagme and also by this is great song of Nagas revealed by Dudjom Basam Toku Jamel there legends how who was like emanation of Lonchenpa, he revealed one of Naga song. This great La Selchen Mo song we do alone, not like going for River Sancho before. There's a little bit problems, right? Because all 4 guests group is not like described, and it's like a little bit going just general to Nagas as like worldly beings. Another way of doing like Naga, somehow we do in the Dudjom Tersar, for example, including in trauma. If we follow in trauma after recitation in sadhana, short one, medium one, or big one, we do in Sang in our trauma tradition after protectors. So there is 2 ways of doing trauma Sang, like more elaborate one and medium one. Medium one is connected to 3 roots and general to all the Dudjom Tersar protectors, etc. So if you know how to do big Sang of trauma, you also can do put this Naga Sang into this huge or elaborate trauma Sang, because all parts are like complete there. So like refuge, bodhicitta, generation ourselves as Buddha Shakyamuni, blessing of Sang substances, visualization of 4 guest group, etc. It's everything included. So you're doing this big Sang. If you have all text of trauma, there is also 2 special Sangs like null Sang, deep Sang, 2 kinds of contamination. One is general contamination, one is specially connected to Samaya breakers. So it's recommended to do these songs before Naga Sang if you do like according trauma. I don't know, like maybe for most of us it's say nothing, but also I hope some trauma practitioners for them will be like useful, right? Actually, if we look to Sang tradition, how it's developed, it says that first great Sang was composed and given by Guru Rinpoche to King Chisong Detsen. You can read about this. The stories come. It's called like blue divine water. This is like no Sang which offering and also purification of all this contamination. And story of its appearance, like very clearly explained. You can read about this on Our House. So it explains also why, like, generally Sang we do, right? So one way most important accumulation of this gathering of merits and wisdom. One is like purification. Sang means also like purify, right? Again, if this thinking just like some remarks, it could be connected really to Bon. This Lasel Chenmo great Sang of La, it's written by Karma Chagme, was composed by Guru Padmasambhava. Same Sang exists in Bonpo tradition, as they say, it's teaching of Bonpo Mahasiddhas. One Bonpo Mahasiddha Lugel, who is like kind similar to Nagarjuna, right, in Buddhist tradition. Why I think it's also maybe connected to Bon, because Shanshung mantra is at the end of this, right? It's not Sanskrit, it's like Shanshung mantra. But generally, Nyingma perspective says that Guru Rinpoche also gave a lot of teaching to Bonpo, and also many terma treasures in Bon tradition revealed and they're concealed by given by Guru Rinpoche, especially for Bonpo practitioner, right? So it could be also that same Sang was openly revealed by Buddhist Terton and same Sang revealed by Bonpo Terton. It happens. There is some cases like this, right? It happens. It's not like that is not possible. Also, Shichen Gyaltsab Rinpoche in his commentary, when he explains why a few Bonpo treasures included into Rinchen Terzo collection, he says that this is a blessing of Buddha's, right? It's completely okay. There are different mantras, some Sanskrit, some even like part of mantras in Tibetan. So there is no any problem that in Buddhist text could be Shanshun mantras too. So it's okay. But like inside of this text is not described like this like general Buddhist approach about 4 group of guests. And as any Sang of Nagas we do in general, best to follow this structure of this 4 group of guests. I also hope that you know about this. This first group is like group of our devotion and veneration is like 3 roots, 3 jewels, light and one. Like second group is of noble qualities, and this is like worldly protectors, right? Who half worldly, half like enlightened. It's a group of 70 Pelgons. From one of the 70 is 8 great Nagas. So they proud members of this group are Nagas, right? As we already said, they could consider them emanation of different bodhisattvas. They could be emanation of Kunduzambo, etc. As of course everything is like in Dzogchen state according to nature. But on this relative level, there are so many explanations. 8 great Nagas as they perceive in Indian tradition, Nepalian tradition, Buddhist tradition, Bonpo tradition. There is surely one base from it came out same, but approach and vision so vary. There are so many of them. So the second group in any Sang, including these great Nagas, right? Third group is our karmic creditors whom we owe so much, and fourth group is all sentient beings like compassion guest, right? So we will talk about this a little bit after. So why I recommend these songs, which includes this 4 guests, because it's like make complete picture. If we add this La Sochimo great La clarify, great Sang clarifying La energy into Rivo Sancho or trauma songs, and it's also okay, because before in this main parts it's everything included, even if it's not mentioned in this great La clarifying song itself. Okay, so this is like a rule of text, right? We're using some great big Sang and adding this Naga Sang inside. or of course in some special occasions when elaborate or a few days, etc., doing sang practices with sadhanas, sang and torn offering, etc., then it will be different. But in our general moderate, like practical approach, so best we do with River Sancho, for example, this everyone can do. So we prepare this sang, right? Blessed it with water from our activity vase, and doing this visualization of how to bless this smoke and this clouds of smoke coming from this Naga Sang offering in this way. So first, it's everything turns to emptiness, right? From empty state, syllable dham comes, from whom arise blue dakini of offering, goddess of offering, blue color. She is Rupa Vajri. So this is like Vajra, goddess offering of forms. She is blue in color, and we should think that this small comment from Naga Sang is this form or manifestation of this dakini. We can think about one dakini or multiple dakinis of this, which are bringing to Nagas with this smoke blessing, right, and offering. So this dakini, she's blue as sky. She's like standing or dancing. She has precious jewel ornaments and silk clothes, right? In her right hand, she keeping vase, like normal vase with lid, right, which contain nectar inside. And by this vase, she washing or bathing, make bath for all nagas. In her left hand, she keeps vessel full of naga medicine, which from this medicine, great odor, great aroma comes, which like mixing with this smoke and smell of our sang offering. This is two attributes is like very important, right? This nectar vase and this medicine, they bring all benefit to nagas. If we do for group of guests, it's also offered to all of guests of them. But in Naga Sangs, we like more concentrate on nagas between these four groups, right? So this nectar from vase washes out all contamination, all diseases, all troubles, etc., like dangerous fears from all nagas, right? We imagine, right, that it's the relative level is purifying them from all these diseases, especially. On ultimate level, it's nectar of emptiness and bliss, and brings their minds to bodhicitta state, right? When we say nagas like enlightened one, of course, they are not sick and they don't need to be purified, they're pure. But these other nagas families, lower one, minor one, small one, etc., they need this. So they purified, brought to bliss state, and by this their minds turn to bodhicitta, like not to harm anyone, to help everyone. And second, this vessel with this medicine and smell of medicine, same, right? This especially cures all these naga diseases, because as we spoke, they so much suffer from many diseases, poisoning, wounds from Garuda, etc., and they couldn't heal themselves. So this is main point of this blue goddess with these two attributes, because especially for nagas, in same words, same description in Karma teaching and also in Dudjom tradition teaching about this goddess of offering with these attributes. But also all other offerings like 8 auspicious substances, 8 auspicious emblems, 7 royal attributes, all like kind of outer offering, like to waters, etc. All 5 kind of inner offering of objects of senses and pleasing them, right? Etc., etc. All of this comes with this sang smoke and goes to 4 groups of guests. Actually, like it means to all beings and all Buddhas, because 4 groups consist everyone, right? All enlightened ones are Buddhas, all not enlightened ones are beings, right? And as rain, all these desirable and beneficial, all this cure, medicine, and riches, etc., goes to Nagas, especially to Nagas, right? To all for guest groups, but also to Nagas, and they get everything what they need. This nectar and medicine, like clouds, like small, like fog, right, with this smoke of songs, come and reach to every Nagas. And this offerings becomes like completely limitless, as much as sky or space lasts, and there is no limit, right? So limitless all these offerings, and as much we do in this chant and song, we after like we imagine all this, that all this song goes to these Nagas. When we do like big songs, there is description, right, of order of these groups, how they offer. And for example, in this Dudjom song, it's described like this visualization in this way. So generally we say that highest group, this enlightened ones, they like sun, moon, and stars. Second group, this worldly one, eight great Nagas, etc., they like clouds, which is everything like how it's positioned in sky, right? All these karmic creditors, also those bad Nagas or harmful Nagas between them, right? Inside of this karmic group, they are like multiple and like dust in sun rays, and all sentient beings, they like covering all earth, like all surface of land of earth, like so it's level, right? 4 levels of these groups, and this offerings goes to them. So in this, the John songs also mentioned, right, that by power of 2 natural elements, which in pure state is like Pandaravasini is element of fire, and Samayatara is element of wind. All these offerings reach and goes to all of these objects of 4 guests group, right? Generally in teaching says, because everything connected to 5 elements, outer and universe, inner beings, our mind, our everything. So which like according to you started from first appearances of 5 lights, primordial lights from great base, right, or primordial ground appears as 5 lights. So in this way they say that all practice is based on elements power very like strong. So here elements of fire, wind, also all this like offered substances like connected right to earth element, all these plants, etc. So this is why they're powerful, right? They already like inherited to natural beings, and it's reconnecting, especially when we do all this visualization, etc. And Tantra says that 3 ways how to enact or how to manifest activity, right? Like it is samadhi or visualization, it's mantra, and like special substances. And this Naga Sang offering, all 3 are presented, right? According, of course, our capacity of visualization maybe is the weakest point, but if we have proper Sang substances and have proper motivation and using these mantras, etc., then everything like goes well, even with not so great samadhi or visualization. Also, in this Sang of great clarifying law energies, there is no this part of blessing substances. In many texts, like in Nippon advices and commentary to Naga term offerings, there is one general mudra of Nagas. They say that this is mudra, like which bring benefit to Nagas, right? This like big finger up and small out, and 5 is on top. It's like snake form. So when we do this blessing of substances, we can use this mudra. It says that for any Naga practices, it's very much advised. This mudra comes from few tantras, especially from Vajrayana tantra, etc. So in many texts and practices, it's like present. So maybe it's good to use it. So this power of mudra. Also, of course, in this blessing of offering, we're using mantra and mudra of sky treasure. I think everyone knows, right? So all these three aspects of tantra power and like we are using in this Naga's offering. Okay, for group of guests, right? Or order of offering if we follow this Dudjom tradition song. So when we blessed the Sang, we meditating them from true nature state, from absolute state, compassion power comes out as a king of Nagas, right? This Buddha's, this is Buddha of Naga realm with all his retinue. And we thinking he is coming and staying in front of us on seat of lotus, sun and moon disk. He and all retinue, right? This is part of these four groups of guests. When we did Ribusancho before trauma songs, they're already all present, but we, again, is this Naga song we're doing like reinforcing, like making like stressing it, right? Highlighting it. So he and his retinue, emanation, and all Nagas and all sentient beings leading by them, like offered after, right? By different offerings, which says based on power of 5 great elements and their beneficial qualities. So all desirable, all glorious and good qualities, what comes out to existence from merits of sentient beings, all perfect and beautiful and precious and noble substances, objects, etc. All treasures of actually humans and gods are offered, which is, we can say, in form of nectar, because this also, we can imagine that with this smoke of songs, this divine nectar comes, which is like nectar, but combining all essence of the 3 white offering, 3 sweet offering, Naga medicine, etc. By power of this fire element or Pandaravasini, it's brought by wind, by power of Samayatara or wind element to all these guests. So 7 common offering, 5 desirable objects, all secret offerings, all these royal elements, etc. Everything which would bring in bliss and liberating to Naga, to King Main One and 8 from his retinue, to all their consorts, etc. Everything what they can imagine, we're offering. But we're offering this in order, right? First Sang is going to Lamas and Vidyadharas of 3 lineages. And we requesting by this from them blessing of cities. After it's going to mandalas of Idams, deities with all of them sung, and we asking from them in return to grant us highest and common cities. After it going to Dakinis of 3 places, we requesting from them spontaneously accomplishment of activities and granting cities. After going to Dharma Palace, we asking them in return to accomplish all activities and remove all obstacles. After going specially to bodhisattvas, like 8 bodhisattvas, especially Avalokiteshvara is like also like king of Nagas, to all of them, to him, to Vajrapani, etc. And after we like really, in some case mentioned, we can think about all these Naga kings, starting from Varuna and all others like Nanda, Upananda, etc., etc. Main Nagas, minor Nagas, like high Nagas, lower, middle Nagas, etc. All of them we are offering is requiring, asking from them to give us accomplishment of treasures and enjoyments, like some richness, right? We offer this to female Nagas, asking them to give us prosperity and accomplishment of good luck, prosperity, wealth, etc. After we also offer him especially like to Tenma goddesses and like earth or land goddess, which is like our landlord, etc. We offering to all this worldly protector, like 4 great kings of directions, and all of other, all them 72, sometimes say, sometimes 75, like little bit different, like around of 70 anyway. In conclusion, like in main part of requesting activities in this Dudjom Sangs, it's like very deep, right? It says that in outer level, all of this like communication for group of guests and to Nagas made result, right, on outer level, like increasing of all positive qualities in universe, our world, also to sentient beings. On inner levels, this fire offering, right, and nectar offering, etc., to all these guests, may it in our inner or level reflect as generation or like coming out as fire of bliss and emptiness, that in our body, like speech and mind, it comes like tomorrow, right? Our karma mode realizations is bliss emptiness, which is burning like fire. And on secret level, vision that it will bring wind and mind into central channel, right? Like what is most described on tantra level, and more secret level, of course. We are wishing to realize the Dzogchen state of unity, primordial purity and spontaneous accomplishment, right? All these Kadalundu qualities is in unity and separable emptiness and clarity, like a 3-body state of our own mind to accomplish this. Yeah, we're not asking from all the Nagas to help us with it, right? We already mentioned from the, we're wishing them good and asking the support to our practice, right? This richness or treasures, etc. Not for our enjoyment, enjoying only, but for our spiritual practice, that we could be in good service to teaching and beings, right? Only for this reason. Don't be selfish, right? If you will be selfish, it will not bring big results, or they will be not stable. Especially also Nagas connected to this magnetizing activity, so we are requesting by power all the sun offering, like to be to magnetize or bring under our control of all 3 worlds and 3 sphere existence. So all like highest and common accomplishment we requiring. In what way it could happen from the sun offering? It says it could happen because there is this promise, an oath, and which was some agreement between Nagas and Buddhas, right? By especially between this was established by Buddha, one special Buddha Tathagata named like one with Ushnisha by Buddha Shakyamuni and by Guru Rinpoche. So according to all these promises and vows which form in this bond, let like Samaya be accomplished. This is like meaning of this Dudjom Sang. Even words of Naga Sang, like from Karmacharma, etc., will be different. Meaning should be same, right? Why we like go into this Dudjom traditional Sang? Why we are using like relative level? Okay, because like I'm doing this a lot and like it's maybe my main traditional practice and what I'm following. But from other side, it's really deep. It's really explaining very condensed, very deep and great meaning. So I think now we will do like a small like break, like for 10 minutes, and after we will continue. Om Bezar Sava Samaya Manavalaya Bezar Sadatinaba Tishdajitamibava Dudakamibava Zubakamibava Anoradamibava Sarvasidamibra Sarva Karma Zajami Chidanjayam Guru Hum Ha 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 Pagam Saradagada Bezar Maya Bedrigama Samaya Satva. Bedar Sattva Samaya Manobalaya Bedar Sadatyanova Tishdajidra Mebhava Zudoga Mebhava Zubaka Mebhava Anurada Mebhava Sarvasidi Mebrayadga Sarva Karma Sudam Chidanjiyam Guru Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sarada Dagata Bezarmaya Muja Bedriva Mahasamaya Sadva Om Bedar Sattva Samaya Manobalaya Bedar Sadatyanova Tishdajidra Sudokayame Baba, Zubakayame Baba, Anuradame Baba, Sarvasideme Brahira, Sarva Karma Sucham, Chidanjim Guru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sarvada Dagat, Bezarmaya Munda Bedriba, Mahasamaya Satva A Om Bezar Sava Samaya Manobalaya, Bezar Sadatena Baba, Baba, Sudokayame Baba, Zubakayame Baba, Anuradame Baba, Sarvasideme Brahira, Sarva Karma Sucham, Chidanjim Guru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan. Sarvada Dagada Bezarmaya Bedriva Mahasamaya Sadhva Om Bedar Savasamaya Manobalaya Bedar Savatana Ishdajidvame Baba Zudakayame Baba Zubakayame Baba Anuradame Baba Zarvazidime Brahidva Sarva Karma Sujame Chidanjim Guru Hom Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sarvada Dagada Bezarmaya Bedriva Mahasamaya Sadhva Om Bedar Sadhvazamaya Manobalaya Bedar Savatana Ishdajidvame Baba Sudokayame Baba, Zubakayame Baba, Anuradame Baba, Sarvachidime Prayatva Sarva Karma Sucham, Chidanjiyam Guru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan, Sarvada Dagada Bedharmaya Muda Bedriva Mahasamaya Sattva Om Bezar Sattva Hum Bezar Sattva Hum Bezar Sattva Hum Bezar Sattva Hum Bezar Sattva Om Bezar Sattva Hum 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 Bezar Sattva Om Bezar Sattva Hum 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 Bezar Sattva Honda Zarzado, 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 Giorgio Chodo Zenke took about a shoe, like remind ourselves, please, about our Buddhist motivation, and we will keep going. So generally, we do common songs, like for song of protectors, right? Naga Sang included. Like in the Dudjom Tersar tradition, for example, two special songs of Naga, or not or Naga protectors. If we say about this big song of trauma, also protectors, including all Nagas, etc. So these songs we can do actually like every day, right? They're not required per se anything. But if we do specially for Nagas, then it becomes complicated, right? We should follow these rules because if we like be able to call Nagas and annoy them with wrong offering and this breaking of all these walls, we will get harm. It could be turned bad for us and others. So better not to do if we're not ready. But there is also simple and like not complicated ways. Also a little bit like remember in the preparation part says, right, that women, female practitioners, they're not advised to do sang offering for Nagas, right? Only for Nagas when they have in period time, right? Actually, in Indian traditions, mostly women doing Naga Pujas, etc. It also advised 8 days after finishing like period, they do this Naga Puja. There is like such a moment, right? So traditional rules like this. Again, like about preparation of song, right? We can like make list, but I mentioned this the general, not poisoned one, not like dark one, right? Wood is okay, and like acacia or birch tree or willow is quite like easy to get, right? I think most part of Europe like able. If not, any like sweet fruit trees, etc., with leaves will be okay. About the special substances like in this great Lasel Chimo song offering to Nagas mentioned, usually never like practitioners themselves collecting like separate, right? Like 5 jewels, right? Like what you have to have like, machine to put this gold or silver or pearls or like corals, etc. To powder. If we have this and we want not to put powder, we can use actually a piece of gold or etc. or some of the stones. Very much demanded that they should be cleaned perfectly. You should wash it, maybe even boil water, right? Like completely purify it from touches and etc. Possible one by one use. Um, uh, it's not necessary to collect of all this. If we use this Naga Sang ready one or Naga medicine, it's everything included, right? Why it's so perfect? It's blessed and etc. If we couldn't get it, we can use whatever we mentioned, right? White flowers, they say, very good. Any white flowers. If it's like acacia is better, right? Any white flowers. This tripala is very easy to get to any Ayurvedic shop. What but there is one very strict rule, right? There is no animals or like animal origination substance offered for nagas. In many recipes, it's very cryptic. Some recipes says like skin of snake, not real skin of snake, a special tree, skin of some special tree. Peacock feathers. It's also name of one herb, right? I think I can give off after name. It's also easy, more or less easy to get. And especially this, they say cuttle bone or cuttlefish bone, right? No, this is ocean foam. It's not really bone or whatever. It's not cuttlefish connected at all. But because Tibetan medicine has so many levels and different names, and this is why we should know no animal origination, like surely no like snake or cuttlefish or whatever. No, this is all herbal, all like minerals, herbs, plants, trees, etc. Because Nagas like perceiving all these ancient beasts themselves, right? We couldn't offer them this part of this human sentient beings, right? It's completely forbidden. So whatever we could get from this list, which before song Nagas mentioned, any of them will be good. Any what we discussed will be good. Naga medicine, best we can get it, right? And uses little bit, just small, half of spoon, etc. And like we can use one pack like forever, right? And but it will bring by blessing all these powers inside. So after we finish Sang of Naga, and generally also in trauma, after every offering, like water offering, sur offering, Sang offering, chod offerings, there is conclusion parts, right? Like dissolution, sending away, giving a dharma teaching, dedication, etc. If we have arranged all this text, like in trauma tradition, it's included. Also in this Lazar house Sang, it's also included. But you should understand, I don't know why they put in this order. They put first Sang of Naga and after like refuge and generation, etc. We should do first this refuge generation and after put inside Naga Sang, etc. Also, there is storm offering and dedication, everything then will be in proper order. Why they didn't put it in order, I don't know. Just a little bit. It's also big question, this Tormo offering for Nagas. We could say general is like this. Sang offering more common. We can do this easily, right? Tormo offering a little bit more complicated. We could do this. It's a little bit more demanding or more rare, like less generally done. I mean, if we wish, we could do. In the retreat of trauma, we stay and like Naga day comes, etc. We do this trauma offering to Nagas. It could be done in 3 ways, right? Elaborate, medium, and short way. Elaborate way demanding or requiring torma. We have to make torma. which most of us are usually never doing, right? Medium way is more easy, like we're doing pills just from this sample from this duck. We're making small balls, like round, like pills. And most easy way, we just use milk water, right? Water and milk and all other offering what we can. Of course, better we have this Naga medicine. We use for this offering, it's called Torma offering, right? But if we look in Indian tradition, most of Torma offering were like Torma offering by water, right? In Tibetan tradition, it became all this complicated, sophisticated, made from dove, etc. In small way, like water offering is Torma offering. There is many texts which explain how this how water is offered as Torma, right? This preparation, like from practitioner, place, time, etc., same. Separate text which are blessing this prepared our torma or milk water into nectar given to Nagas kings, etc. Like process of offering more or less like same. We could, if somebody will have a wish, like speak about this, like separate. Also, there's pictures of tormas for Nagas, but more easy. If we have special torsha, this vessel for water offering, usually it's made from like copper or some like not noble metals. So it says that for Nagas is not so good, but this vessel and all these plates and like tripods from silver also exist. They are much more expensive and rare to get it. If we have money, we can get it, but it's more difficult. But this milk, water with Naga medicine, etc., we could offer in glass. We could offer it on wooden cup. We could offer in like clay pot, etc. They okay. They not annoying Nagas. Nagas like prefer rich, right? This silver and gold is best, but according to our capacities. So in the most short way, right, we just prepare this vessel full of this milk and water mixed, put in flowers around, like white flowers, etc. All the substances what we can prepare, which pleasing Nagas, blessing it, offering, and after like taking it away. There is, of course, also a description how we divide it for 3 parts for Nagas, Nyan, and Sadak. Not necessary. We can just put it to water, right? They say this Nagas offerings should be fresh, right? If you're making torma, it should be done morning, it is same day. It couldn't stay one day. They not offered, not fresh one, right? Milk water offered after we've taken to some water spring, to river, to pond, etc. What we preparing, like peels, or this 3 sweets, 3 whites, etc. Everything we can put to water, it's okay. Advises it like dogs or animals or beggars, they don't get it because it will be like reducing this benefit from this torma offering. Generally, like easy way, right, to offer, we just prepare this milk and water. We being very clean and freshly dressed, etc., going to some water and generating bodhicitta. Sometimes advised with dress in white color, not obligation, but advised. It's also good to have color, white color, not necessary, but good. So, and after we, for example, reciting this dharani, bringing happiness to Nagas, into this dharani, doing this 21 times, etc., we like putting inside all our good motivation to make offerings to all this 4 group of guests, especially to Nagas, and to Nagas Buddhas to make offering, to Nagas sentient beings. We like helping and giving them, generous to them, trying to cure their diseases, to protect them from garudas, from fire, from pollution, contamination, etc., and trying to make them happy and not to harm anyone. And also, like if we do this, especially requesting like to bring rain when it's so dry, or when it's like dry out water to bring water back, etc. They also like controlling this harvest and or our growing. There is also explanation like how in winter, summer, spring, autumn, where Nagas situated or based, right? There are many details, but most simple is like this. Be choosing special times this Naga day, preparing as much offering as we can, clean, etc. One suitable for Nagas, go into this place, making this full heart, including with good wishes, offering, and it's reciting this Dharani, for example, and it's okay. This is most easy and suitable way, but still special Naga day and cleanness, right? That we're not eating this meat and etc. in this day. This is like required. This is better to do like this. When we offering this, we also like rely like on three forces. First is our white intention. Second, power of all Buddha's bodhisattvas, especially like Guru Rinpoche and Avalokiteshvara connected to Nagas, etc. Third is power of elements, right, which represents in our offering, like by this power of wind, fire, etc., that they bring and accomplish all of this. If we go like on top explanation on Dzogchen level, so it says that from our not enlightened state, from three poisons comes out three negative forces. From nature of anger comes Gyalpo spirits. From desire and clinging comes Senmo spirits. And from ignorance and stupidity comes Nagas, negative forces, right? So negative Nagas forces comes from this aspect. Sometimes say that sky, emptiness, light in the sky, and darkness, right? Like fog, etc. Or this three condition of sky give birth and this Naga spirits, Nyan spirits, and Sadak spirits comes from these three natural states, like emptiness and clarity, like virtuous one, and from this fog, darkness state, this negative comes out. Everything like based on the sky space. That means our this normal sky, like physical sky. In Vajrayana Tantra, great treasure of the Dudjom Tersar, says that on inner level, on elements level of inner like nature, Nagas connected to our own ignorance, and from ignorance and not realizing true nature of five elements comes five Naga families, right? Of all these five families of Nagas. So until we have, right, this ignorance inside of us and deluded about nature of elements, it projects and gives us like this connection and manifestation of this Naga spirit. Of course, this is like highest point of view, right? When everything is self-manifested nature, wonder of primordial wisdom, right? Not something different from our enlightened state. If so, best way to offer to Nagas will be like stay in meditation, like in Dzogchen state, and integrating with this Dzogchen state, reciting these prayers, like in Dharani Nagas, etc., making these physical offerings, and concluding, right, with these good wishes and dedications. Then it's most simple way. It works, simple ways, but also working. So I think today maybe we'll stop on it. Thank you so much that you came to listen. I don't know if like I was able like to explain something clearly, and if it was like beneficial, but I hope that good intentions brought us here together. So I think now we can dedicate merits. This merits, maybe small merits, what came out from this teaching and listening and thinking in good way, but also merits of past and future. All these roots and virtues we will dedicate to all sentient beings to get Buddhahood very soon. especially not fast, not last, but also Nagas, right? Between this all sentient beings, we will dedicate merits to all Nagas getting enlightenment. Also, Lama Tsongkhapa explains, right, that Buddha said that between Nagas, a lot of ex-Buddhist practitioners, those practitioners who were quite good in practice of knowledge of Dharma, evidence, etc., but not so successful in compassion and like putting their knowledge into practice, many of them getting rebirth as Naga. From this point of view, this is not like better rebirth, right? If you go in Naga like animal state, it's better one. If we go into Nagas who are very bright, intellectual, so many Vidyadharas, right? Only by Guhagarbha teaching, so hundreds, thousands of them got this Vidyadhara state. So Nagas is completely suitable, very intelligent. Maybe some of them not very kind, but very intelligent, and they're really close to Buddha teaching, close to Buddha heart. You know, so many stories about Nagas, how one Naga was so frustrated to be with the half animal, he manifested as human and went and got ordination to listen teaching from Buddha, right, and pretended to be a human monk. And once when he was sleeping, he left this concentration, and his friends saw from windows a room full of this coiled snake, right? Because he was sleeping. He scaredly yelled, and this guy, Naga, he woke up and turned again human, right, as he was his monk. And he asked him, friend, why, what happened? He explained his Nagas. He heard and believes that Buddha teaching could help, right, to liberate from samsara. This is why he did, why he pretended to be monk. So he was brought to Buddha. Buddha told he broke some vows, etc. And he is like, he and other Nagas not allowed to be monks. So he like disrobed him. But Buddha gave teaching to Nagas how they could keep these fasting practices and this one-day vows. Actually, this vows keeps monastic discipline, right? All virtue of monastic discipline, but for short period, for 24 hours. So many of Nagas practicing it, and many got like enlightenment, etc. from this. But it's like joke or not joke. Now, when somebody wants to become a monk, one question on during ordination procedure of preparing, are you Naga or not, right? Because Naga is not allowed. But this is like so many dimensions in Buddha teaching, right? And we are just learner and starting students. So let's dedicate merit and make good wishes for all beings, for Nagas, for us, for everyone to get enlightenment and Buddhahood together in one single state by activating our true nature. Thank you so much. Sonamji tamje zivani tobne nebe ranam pamje de kega naje balon rubai sibe zole ro dolware jo janjo senjo rimboje make bana kigyuri kevanya bo mebaya gone gondo pelware jo jambel bao jidare kemba dan kunto zambo de andijend de da gungi jezo dalo jergewa dida tamje ravdo no Tongwa jiren kanzo jongwa dan tenba niyo shindu selwa dan tenzen punu shindu tongwa e tenba yuren ebe tashi sho gewa kongi sanjen do lame chegi tenba de jidar kala nishar shin kyakan yola darge jo kenlo chuzon rinlo de zamlen sason kyabar be drogyu chozon nawa dan midyo duzon gele sho. Thank you and good night. See you again. Oh, also, like, I'm very much like, I want to say thanks to Lupita. Many of you know she like very generously helped with this Zoom for today's teaching. So thanks to her again. Thank you so much. See you. Good night.